as Oolong was moments away from having Toriyama sensei draw a scene that would have permanently got Dragon Ball banned in the States. He's interrupted when he sees what looks like Goku climbing the stairs. Knowing full well how quickly that caveman would have had his bacon on a skillet if he peeped him hunting for Bulma's Dragon Balls while asleep, he gets desperate, pulling the blanket over the sleeping girl's head and transforming into BBW Bulma to ward off suspicions. Little does Oolong know though that what he thought was Goku was actually a Doodle Bob tier impersonation put on by none other than Poir, who was sneaking upstairs to distract the girl so Yamcha didn't have to shit the bucket the moment he came in the earshot of some XY chromosomes. Bro, what even is this show? I'm so weak because Poir not recognizing Bulma I can low-key understand, because I don't actually know if Poir has really even seen Bulma for real to know that something was off with this high-calorie version. But Oolong not being able to recognize his Mihoi Minoi looking excuse for a Goku makes me sick, bro. That means little buddy truly had not even been paying a lick of attention to Goku or what that fella looked like the whole time he's been dogging around for a pair of dirty Bulma panties. Absolutely freaked out. There is no hope for him. As fate would have it though, there was only one set of balls Yamcha was fit to take home that day. As Poir took Bulma's big sister boxers down for a distraction, he couldn't help but wonder if that girl that had him tied up in knots like that the past day was really that thick from the start. Just as Yamcha was preparing to learn some truths about himself as he uncovered the wish orbs on the bed, he was utterly mortified when the spheres he caught sight of were much different than what he was expecting. After a moment of processing, all the young king could do was wordlessly walk out of the trailer park. He gazed into the abyss too long and found only nipples in the reflection. He needed to regroup and recalibrate his encryption. His desires to exit the incel community would have to wait yet another day. Morning comes and Goku finally awakes from his pudding pop trance. Waking up on 10, per usual, Bulma gets on Oolong for not having her laundry ready, but is put at ease when he informs her she's got a spare outfit upstairs that should fit her just right. Refusing to beat the Freakazoid allegations, tell me why this 14-year-old pig had a bunny cabaret outfit just chilling in the top drawer of his double-decker minivan like it's just something people do. With no other options though, Bulma dons a costume, which funnily enough will go from fan service to plot relevance in a few short moments, as the crew continues their journey to fire, aka Fry Pan Mountain. As they roll through the desert, they are quickly greeted with some familiar company. None other than John Arbuckle riding a whip straight out of Mario Kart, looking in their direction to make his presence known. Bulma sees this and gets excited, hoping that the young lad's wolf-fang fist will penetrate more than Goku's ribcage this time. But is quickly disappointed when this man spawns in a rocket launcher and launches a bullet at a pig faster than Charlotte's Web. After making the block hotter than invitations to a Diddy party, Goku exits the van ready to squabble up, informing Yamcha that the last time they were throwing the ones, he had that starving Marvin debuff, but now he was full and ready to put belt to ass, no draws. And boy was he not lying, because round 2 ain't looked nothing like the first soiree. They started off exchanging blows, no diddy, but in record time, Goku hopped a kick from Yamcha and gave him a taste of those Wasteland 11 straight to the jaw. The whole thing was tragic. Yamcha picked himself up off the ground, and after noticing every time he tried to make a vowel sound, he sounded like Thompson Tank Engine, pipped the fact that he lost a tooth and damn near erupted into tears. Young man was already allergic to getting hosed, and after being an involuntary recipient to the Hockey Smile Hall of Fame, he needed to grieve his permanent celibacy in silence. That most recent trip to the wash and dry cycle gave John a revelation. Why Goku got hands. So rather than taking the direct route and trying to finesse Goku in a one-on-one, since clearly he ain't that guy, he decided to play the long game, banking on the belief that Goku's brain was smoother than a cooch dancer's midriff, and if he followed him long enough, he would lead him straight to the balls. So what do you know, old Yamcha put his old jalopy in reverse and pulled yet another rabbit out of his hat, but this time, he was bearing gifts. He threw the crew a capsule containing a mint-condition Volkswagen in the hopes of letting bygones be bygones, and seemingly scooted off back to his one-bedroom apartment with his cat after reflecting and coming to the error of his ways. At least that's what Goku thought as he was hauling Bulma's surprisingly heavy carcass across the desert landscape. Oolong was all but convinced the moment they turned on that car they were going to be recreating that scene with Apollonia from The Godfather, but to his surprise, they were able to use the gift without a hitch, and the journey to Fry Pan continued. Making their way in a new set of wheels, the closer they got to the mountain, the hotter it got. But this wasn't only heat Oolong was feeling, because Oolong knew about the rumors of Yumao, aka the Ox King, who took residence atop Fry Pan Mountain, and the little piggy was in no rush to make his way into that particular skillet. Bulma's barrage of insults, shining a light on Oolong's complete and utter bitch-madeness, did absolutely nothing to stop that pig from putting the buggy in reverse and heading back to his mansion of ill repute. Unfortunately for him though, he forgot about Bulma's bubble gut serum, and seconds before he turned the interior of the Volkswagen peanut butter for all the wrong reasons, he evacuated and found himself back aboard the next field trip to Fry Pan. On the other side of the earth, John and Garfield were racking their brains to figure out if little Goku had finally bitten off more than he could chew looking to square up with Yumao, when in the distance, he heard some rigmarole occurring behind him that he couldn't help but give some attention to. T-Rex was running sprints through the landscape, chasing an Epstein Island escapee, and right before her attendance to the next Nirvana concert was secured, she threw her bladed mohawk at the encroaching beast and knocked his head clean off his underdeveloped shoulder. But as I was watching this, I couldn't help but ask why this kill in particular was so damn graphic, man. Like, the whole thing is random enough with this little ass girl and some Victoria's Secrets and a bladed mohawk snuffing out Barney's first cousin. But then to watch the scene just devolve into a Happy Tree Friends level of gore out of nowhere until she uses her ultra beam to turn that thing into space dust just had my head spinning. I know Sensei was off the craziest pack ever when he was putting Dragon Ball to paper. The creativity and randomness level was just absolutely unmatched. But I'm glad I wasn't bugging that bad, because Yamcha had the exact same reaction as me watching this whole thing unfold and began to roll up on the kid to get some answers. Little lady was on garbage time though. Tell me why all John did was roll up and she immediately fired off a unibeam looking to Thanos snap this perfect stranger's life away. Luckily Yamcha got them Wolfang hops though, jumped over the laser, and immediately after processing what she just tried to do to him, said his hands was like Animal Crossing. They rated E for everyone, and Double Axe handled the top of the girl's dome like his name was Randy Savage. I gotta be real though, as insane of work as this section with Yamcha being the face of equal rights, equal fights is, the conversation after the job was done had me putting some respect on his name. In the manga version, after putting that youngin' to sleep, maybe permanently for all he knew, Park couldn't help but notice that he did start bugging after putting hands on that little girl in the same way he was after catching a glimpse of Bulma's wish orbs. That's when mans like Yamcha was like, well duh, that's cause I ain't into cupcakes, don't put that evil on me. Damn near cried. The originator of the Wolfang Fist said don't mistake me for the rest of these weirdos on the roster. The only thing I like ripe is a banana. And as King Yamcha made his way back to check in on the progress of plotline A, Goku and company were still trying to figure out a way to navigate the fires of Fry Pan. Eventually they decided on having Goku take King Kunta up top to scout the castle and see if he could drop in from there. Never want to shy away from an opportunity to risk his life and well-being, Goku saddled up and scooted his way up to the top of the mountain. And while he was taken to the air, fireworks were sparking down below as well, when a massive man, an absolute unit, homie looks like he just got done swallowing the entire Miami Dolphins roster, major pause, threw an axe near the fences near Bulma and Oolong, sharply making his presence known. Before them stood none other than Yumao, the absolute brick house who by all appearances had earned his nickname and then some, and was now requiring answers out of his most recent uninvited guests. Bulma was in the cut babbling like Courage the Cowardly Dog, but was saved from her stupor when Goku reeled back in from his cloud to see what had his friends stuttering like grade school Forrest Gump. Goku asked the old ass man his name and wanted to know why he seemed to be pressing his friends like he was, which was none too nice. As Bulma and Oolong found themselves on their knees prepared to do whatever it took to lower the ire of the Ox King, the massive warrior was more concerned with the curious mode of transportation that little nappy-headed boy was flying on. Upon telling him that he got it from an old perv named the Turtle Hermit, Ox King's whole vibe changed, squatting low and excitedly asking the young troll what trailer park Roshi moved into after being evicted from his last place for being too close to a school zone. Not surprised to hear about the necessity of his living arrangements, but definitely surprised to hear there was more to the old dude than chasing uncomfortably young girls. Yumao and Goku began chopping it up like old buddies as the conversation continued. Continuing to peep the rest of Goku's fit, he noticed the power pole he down on his back and recognized this as one of the trinkets owned by Master Gohan, Roshi's #1 disciple who he trained along with his #2 back in the day. Seeing their traveling companion make such quick friends with Brock Lesnar made the crew as well as Yamcha begin to have an understanding of just how much of a diamond in the rough this Goku fella might be, and there might be worse naive little murder hobos to be in the company of. Upon seeing Goku as someone who could be trusted, he imparted the young bumpkin with yet another side quest, asking Goku to return to the side of Master Roshi and receive what was known as the Basho fan. Much in the same way as the Kinto-un, the Basho fan was yet another trinket Master Roshi happened to be in possession of that possessed the power over the elements necessary to extinguish the heaven-sent flames from Fry Pan. Goku agreed, but this time put his noggin to use and set one condition, asking that in exchange for making that trek all the way back to OVO Mansion, the Ox King would give up the Dragon Ball he was in possession of back in his castle. Seeing as this is more than even trade, not knowing the golden goose the Dragon Balls were, Yumao agreed and the terms were set. And as Goku prepared to speed off, he was stopped one last time by the Ox King, who had a final request. He lost sight of his daughter Chi-Chi yesterday during his afternoon self-immolation session atop the mountain, and asked Goku if he happens to see a young child in a bathing suit that definitely wouldn't get him caught up in children's services to bring her back home, because daddy misses her very much. And Big Fella also just casually pimped out old girl to Goku, telling her he can wife her up while he's at it too because he knows any child of Gohan's gotta be top quality grandbaby making material. And with the uncomfortable conversation finally out the way, Goku made his way back to OVO Island for the treasures to solve their fry pan problem. But unfortunately, not all were as at ease as young Goku, because as Yamcha heard Francis Ngannou's description of his daughter, he realized that was the girl he gave that insane donkey punch to back in Wasteland 3 and was guaranteed to be cooked quicker than eggs on fry pan the moment Bane found out what happened. So with Par in the car and fear in his heart, Yamcha retraced his steps, and right here, viewers at home, is where we're going to call it. Tune in next time as the race to Roshi's begins. Will Yamcha be able to resuscitate the young Chi-Chi he left to die back in the jungle? And if so, how crazy is the Wolf Fang game he's going to have to spit to make things right? And will Goku be able to receive the Basho fan from Master Roshi? Or is all hope for the mountain, and thus the Dragon Balls, yet more smoke in the wind? Only one way to find out. Be easy, y'all, and catch you again in the next video.